This week I'm going to answer an email question about how to charge for your services. Hi, Larry Kaye here with ShadowAnyone.com. I'm also the creator of the Investigator's Ultimate Guide series, premium private investigator training from someone who's been there and done that. And before I get into the email, let me say, I've been doing these videos for about 3 years now, week after week after week, and I love doing them. But in the last couple months, I have been getting just the best questions by email. Just crazy good questions from you guys, and I thank you. I'm always happy to answer them. But just some really good questions, and this is one of them. This is an email I got from Kyle. He says, do you charge separate rates for law firms, corporations, and private citizens? And just what a great question. I don't know that I've touched on this before. Maybe in one of my training courses I do a little bit. But the short answer is yes and no. Some things I do charge differently for regular repeat customers than I do for what I call the onesie twosies, or the people that come to me off the street who find me through another means. So, for example, background checks is a really good example of that. I have standard packages that I offer of background checks for pre-employment screenings. So these are specifically rates that I offer to companies and human resources departments, knowing that these are generally the types of things they're interested in, and there's a certain margin built in. So I know, based on my time and database fees and things like that, it's going to cost me X amount to actually do this particular background check for the person, for the company. And I mark that up based on a variety of things. It's not just a straight thing, but I got to make it worth my time. And by the way, whatever you're charging, really take into consideration your time. If you're starting out, that's one asset. You say, boy, I got all the time in the world. I could spend all week long working for this one client, even though they're only paying me $200. And if you want to do that, fine. But when you're actually calculating your rates and what you charge people, be sure to charge what you're worth. So a background check like that to a regular human resources department, might be, a quarter or a third of what I would charge a one-time person off the street for it. Now, why is this? Is that's not fair? That's not right. Here's the thing: when you're working for a repeat business, you're really making money not only on the individual, say, background check in this case that you're doing, but on that repeat business. You know that when they contact you and they're doing hiring, they're going to be sending you 3, 4, 5, 8 background checks. All of a sudden, that makes an afternoon's work a pretty nice return, a little bit of revenue for you. You can just, for this one client who knows what they're going to get, you've already explained to them the caveats and the details of what to expect. They've used you before. They're pleased with you. When they bring you 8 of these little ones, that's quite worthwhile, of course. You get a private citizen off the street who says, I want to know about the background of this person. It's probably going to be a much more custom background check. And they may be more interested in address history, or may be more interested in criminal history. And so you have to adjust for that. But also their expectations have to be adjusted for, so that they understand. When I work for a company doing human resources, doing criminal investigations or background checks, they know I'm going to come back with, as I've talked about an example in a previous video, a guy who's, was charged with an assault and was found guilty. That's what they're going to get. They'll also get the sentence, 30 days in jail, 28 days suspended, 2 days credit, whatever this thing is. They understand they're going to get the charge and the disposition. Here's somebody, public indecency, guilty. They understand that's what they're going to get. When you work for a private citizen, they want more information. And they expect more, so they're going to want the details of it. If a corporate client needs details of it, they understand they're going to pay more for it as well. So I do charge a little bit differently, a little bit more for those onesie twosie type clients. However, that's kind of where it ends with that kind of simple case like that. Maybe for a skip trace, it might be slightly different, a little bit more for a private citizen off the street than from a client I work for regularly. But generally, I do charge the same rates for corporate repeat clients, law firms, as I do for people off the street. If I have to do surveillance, working for an attorney, a criminal defense case, they get charged the exact same rate that a person off the street coming to me for surveillance. I still have my minimums that I require and things like that. If you're doing surveillance, it's a wise thing to have a minimum. You'll get people who call you up and say, I want you to follow my girlfriend all next week. How much does that cost? And I forget the number if you actually do the rate, tens of thousands of dollars. Oh, well, how much for 20 minutes on Thursday? Well, so if you're doing surveillance, consider having like a 3-hour minimum, which I do. And I do hold my corporate clients, my regular clients, to that same standard as off the street. So, bottom line, generally speaking, everybody pays the same, although for some preset packaged services like pre-employment screening that I do, there will be a little bit of a discount built in for my repeat customers. Great question, Kyle. Thank you, and thank you to everybody who's sending me just outstanding questions. It definitely makes my job more fun to have something really to get my teeth into and answer for you. This is Larry Kaye with ShadowAnyone.com. Remember, do the right thing, even if it's the hard thing.